This is Valerie Aiello, and you are listening to Idea Diary. How's it going, everybody? Episode 10. We've made it. 10 podcasts, 15 minutes in 10 days. So far, pretty easy. Glad you can make it. If you're coming back, listening again, I really appreciate it. I know this is probably not the greatest thing in the world, but I'm getting through it. Hopefully, if I'm good eventually, then we can look back at these old ones and see the progress. So, I guess I wanted to go over some random news, business news. So Twitter announced that their employees don't ever have to come back to work if they don't want to. Meaning they still have to work, but everyone can work from home. So I'm thinking a lot of companies are gonna follow that lead. And yeah, it's officially, there's a cost benefit to having people work from home, even if they're not as productive as they possibly could be if they went to work. You don't have to pay the rent, the electricity, all the bills that come with having an in-person office. And it is actually easier to track people's work through the computer, which is kind of a scary idea. It's like micromanaging extreme that could possibly make people's lives even worse, even though they don't have to get into traffic, spend an hour getting to work, an hour getting home, or whatever it is. That when there's always somebody watching your computer every second of the day, I guess there's a little freedom you're giving up probably if you get to work from home, if a company decides to micromanage every minute of your day. So that's coming down the pipeline. I guess we all kind of knew that was probably going to happen. I've seen it coming for a long time. Obviously, I didn't see it being a pandemic. There's a place called WeWork that I tried out. WeWork is where you rent a room. Basically you're renting a fishbowl. It's a glass room, and you get a key, and you get to keep your computer there. But you can also take out your computer, and they have kind of coffee shop areas, lunchroom type of areas that are common spaces. And then you can rent meeting spaces of all sizes, classrooms. There's little meditation rooms. There's parties. But if you research WeWork, being there, we could kind of tell that there was some sort of bad energy. Something wasn't right. Things weren't gelling as far as everything they were offering versus how much. It was very cheap versus how much they were charging versus just tons of employees there, cleaning crews, just high level or high rent locations with super manicured, designed every inch of the place. Something really wasn't adding up when we were there, and got a lot of bad vibes in some way from the employees. There was just something wrong. And then when it all came out that their CEO was wild and it was way overpriced or way over evaluated for what they were doing, and they didn't actually own any of the buildings they were renting out. They were just leasing space and then doing all this construction and design on the inside, and then hoping to make a profit somewhere along the way that they were doing. Something was not making sense. And being there, it still didn't make sense. But I do like I'd like the idea of a kind of a private coffee shop club where you can go and work and you could actually leave your laptop out in the open and not have to worry about it. If you have to go to the restroom or something. That's kind of being a digital nomad, work from home kind of person. I never went to a coffee shop to work because I had so much expensive gear. If I needed to work, I had to have my computer or, a million other things. So that was never a reality. But I do like the idea if maybe you had some sort of a meeting place where you could have meetings, or you could have big, meet maybe an outside person, or, like a client or something. Or if you had to, everybody works from home and there's maybe one day a week where you all get together and you block out the meeting room and have food delivered. There was something valuable about the place, the idea of it all. But it also wasn't an old idea. It was, we ended up, when we left WeWork, we went to this other, I guess their competition, but their competition, which the name's escaping me right now, doesn't matter. But their competition had been doing the same concept since the 80s, and they had a lot more locations and a lot more privacy. The fishbowl WeWork world was, you felt like you had no privacy. There's something very odd about it. And with, when we went to the other company, and we kind of switched offices from one to going right across the street to another building. It definitely was a little bit better. I equate it to if you had a band practice space. It seems silly if you can work from home to work from an office, to want to go to an office. But the reality is having an office that you can go to is actually a luxury. And a lot of people don't get that gratitude feeling for going to work, because you kind of take it for granted. You kind of take that for granted that, your job pays for you to come to this office and they have a desk for you and maybe a door to shut, and they're paying for electricity, maybe your parking space. That's actually a luxury, rather than they want you to work from home and you just have to figure out your own space and all the things that go along with that. So, anyway, kind of losing my train of thought on that. I don't even know why. Oh, the Twitter thing. So, yeah, I definitely see the value of working from home. There are less distractions until you start letting the home stuff distract you. There's distractions both. When you're in the office, you have these people think you're always available, and you have these meetings and you have these conversations here and there, and your day could be totally gone where you've done nothing because everybody's looking for a piece of you, trying to get your attention. Which, yeah, being available and doing that is probably part of your job. So it is work. But just having space where every meeting matters, there's not a lot of distraction as far as from the workplace. Being at home, you feel like amazing once a lot of those distractions are gone. But then the other distractions, I think, creep in. And I don't have much experience with working for a company and working from home. I always work for myself. But I can imagine there's, a lot of times we're like, the floor is dirty. I just need to mop it real quick. It's just going to take 10 minutes. And then you're like, someone's going to come over. I've got to pick up everything, or you're like, well, I just need to run to the mailbox. I'm just going to take it's going to be 10 minutes. I'm just going to run there. And then you end up stopping here and stopping there, and then it's 2 hours later and you're thinking, oh crap. I could see where there's traps from getting distracted working from home and kind of getting in trouble with not using your time properly, even if you don't, intend to. It's not moral to use getting paid and using your time from a work for your personal stuff. But I guess everyone's got to work it out for themselves. So, definitely the Twitter news. So the next bit of news is Unilever, which has 1 billion companies under their umbrella. They've canceled all their ads for 2020, and I'm not sure if that's only on social media. I got to double down research on that, but they've definitely canceled their ads on social media platforms because of, I guess, the landscape of it all. It was kind of making it hard for them to know what type of ads to run. And I have a feeling that social media ads might not be as valuable as people think when it comes to selling your product. And if they realize after 6 months of not paying for those ads, they saw no change in their sales, Facebook might be in trouble. All the social media places where people advertise. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But keeping my eye out on that one. And then this is kind of old news, but I thought, kind of thinking of these two things, I thought that's kind of newsworthy, business newsworthy. So I think Google, Amazon, and Facebook all kind of announced at the same time, and this might have been last year or so, but they announced that they were not you didn't have to have a degree to be hired. So in the old days, when you were filling out your applications and sending in your resume, a lot of the job descriptions said you must have a 4-year degree to even apply. So that was kind of, in my day, it was your parents kind of told you, get a degree in anything. Get a degree in underwater basket weaving. It doesn't matter. Just if you had a degree, you could actually apply for jobs. This a whole nother job pool would open up to you. So that's what we did as 90s kids. We just went and got a degree in anything. Got a degree in partying, So, which is fine, whatever. I didn't learn a lot in college or high school, so I'm sure, but I had an art degree. The art degree that I got was called communication design, and you could kind of choose which path within the degree you wanted to focus on yourself. So if you wanted to do illustration or art direction, there were kind of 4 things: graphic design, branding. There were kind of these main topics you could focus on, but it was under this one degree called communication design. And I honestly, when it was time to go get a job, I just kind of said I knew I could do. It was basically, do you know Adobe Illustrator? Do you know Photoshop? Do you know, at the time there was this program called Quark, which was equivalent to Adobe InDesign. And I just kind of said, yeah, I know them. But I didn't really know them. Not to the level that I needed to get the job done. But once I got the job, luckily the boss that I had was very kind to show me the ropes a little bit. Because I think the thing with knowing all the programs and knowing how to do stuff when it comes to at least commercial art, there's a million ways to get from A to B. So if you get hired at a company, they might, there's basics of Photoshop and Illustrator that you could know, but they might need you to do all these other things that they're not going to really expect you to know right out the gate, because everybody does work so differently. So there is some room where you can know the basics, so you know it, but you really don't know the level that they need you to know it. But, you just figure it out. So my point is, now with all the coronavirus, all the colleges closing down, I'm wondering, I saw an ad on YouTube before a video the other day that I can't remember the college name. Something, I honestly can't remember. It was not anything I'd ever seen before. And this college was, their sales pitch was like, we're a college that comes to you. So I was like, okay, I can see where this is going. But then at the end of the commercial, they said, and you don't owe us any money if we do not find you a job. So I was thinking, that's a pretty interesting promise. But it is oversaturated. All the degrees and all the people, and if you're not very specific in learning the exact thing that is needed, such as being a doctor, being a dentist, all the things that you're definitely learning something and you have to know it very well to get into the workspace. And there's probably jobs for you, teachers and things like that. Now that they're kind of opening up jobs to where you don't have to have a degree, I can see there's a shift happening. And I'm wondering, are colleges still going to exist? At least in a building and dorms and the whole thing. So yeah, that's just some news. I got a comment, my first comment. So, and it was actually not a robot, not a spam. So that was pretty cool. And it was kind of about, it was a very nice comment. But there's this thing with the law of attraction, and I don't want to use the word or the phrase because there is a negative thing attached to it, and it is, the thoughts become things is annoying. It's annoying to hear that, especially when you're not getting what you want and things aren't going your way. And it's not magic, but it is the magic at the same time, and it's really hard to discuss it, and you feel like a crazy lady sometimes when you say that. So I'm trying not to say the word law of attraction. I just don't really know how to communicate it properly. But you can, I guess my approach is, you can think your way out of bad situations. You can use your mind to make your income. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I communicate that without sounding insane and woo-woo, which is that word that you got to find a new one for that. But I think might have hit over 15 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up the show. Thanks for being here. It means a lot. I promise I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to jam-pack some inspiration for positivity and not giving up, and just general business lifestyle news. So I hope to see you again if you're visiting the show, and I still don't know how to end the show, so I'm just going to play the music.